Hello students, I'm going to go over the 2010 syllabus that has the course information for elements of organic chemistry. I've sent a link to you about the course syllabus so that you can print one out. This is for spring semester 2020. Okay, and in this short video I'm going to go through the highlights of that particular syllabus so that you know what's going on. On page 4 of that syllabus you'll find a syllabus quiz. And I'll collect that on the first day of class at the start of the period. So I want you to have read it over and answered those questions. That's actually your first assignment. So if you have any questions after reading the syllabus and maybe listening to this video, you can either email me or you can ask at the first lecture. Okay? This is going to be spring semester 2020. Our lecture for the course is section 2010-1. We meet on Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. That's in a big, giant room in the business college. It's room, actually building 162, room 1001. There'll be 180 students in the class. Okay, very large room. My name is Phil Beecham. I'll be teaching the course. I've been teaching at Cal Poly for over 40 years. I'm actually retired, but I like teaching, so I kept teaching as a lecturer. My office is in building 8. It's right across from the lab that you guys have to take. I'm in room 338. It's in the same little hallway as the chemistry department office. There's a phone in there, but hardly ever answer it, hardly ever hear it ring. Best way to reach me is to email me. Okay, so I have the email address here, psbeecham@cpp.edu. Also, if you don't pick your homework up, I collect homework every single day. And if you don't pick it up, I'll put it in a box outside my office. So if you want to get that, you can come there. My office hours officially are Tuesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12, right after our class. So I just walk up after the lecture, and whenever I get there, that's when they start. I'm usually here on campus pretty early, by 7:30, maybe 7:45. And if I'm in my office, I just open the door if you're around. And those early hours, those are kind of unofficial office hours. I leave a little early so that I can make it down to the class on time, since it's all the way across campus. These are the books. I wrote these books myself. I tried to make them pretty cheap. So it's $25 plus tax on Amazon for the lecture book. There's a solutions manual, which is $12 plus tax on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, they ship it for free with, I think it's next day delivery or maybe 2 days delivery. But if you don't have Amazon Prime, then you have to pay postage and the delivery is slower, maybe a week or so. So if you haven't ordered it, by the time the course starts, you'll be behind. I have another book there that's on spectroscopy, but make sure you don't buy that one. That's a totally different course. Now the Cal Poly bookstore sells these, and they have a lot of used ones because I've taught this course for quite a while. And so you can get them a lot cheaper, I think, there. I think actually I saw the rental net down to $10 now. Last semester it was $15. So you can rent them or buy them. If you buy a brand new one, it's like $30 or so, but you don't have to pay postage. I did not see the solutions manual there, so if you want to get that, you're going to have to order that probably from Amazon. And then the other alternative is maybe you know somebody who took the course already, and you can just borrow their book or buy it from them. That's another possibility. So when I send out notices to you guys, I either send it through Bronco Direct or from Blackboard, but in either case it goes to your Cal Poly email, so you have to check that. Some people don't check their Cal Poly email, but you want to check it, or maybe you can reroute your regular Cal Poly email through your regular email. I post course information on Blackboard and on my Cal Poly webpage. One student told me a couple semesters ago that some of the links didn't show up on his iPhone, but they did show up on his computer. So I don't know anything about that, but just thought I'd mention it in case that's the case for you. There are a few errors in my book. I wrote it myself. I didn't have anybody edit it for me. So there's a few, not a lot, but you'll probably notice some. If you see something that doesn't look right, either show it to me before or after class or send me an email with a picture, and I'll do my best to try and correct that for you. Now, everyone wants to do well in this course. Okay, but not everyone has a good approach to succeed in the course. I'm sorry to say. I wish that was the case. Now, you know your special situation. I don't. Is this your first time, your second time, your third time taking the course? Officially at Cal Poly, you're only allowed 3 tries, but I know students have petitioned a 4th. But you don't want to take a course like this 4 times. It's a semester now. Okay, that's a half an academic year, plus it's extra money. So just do it right the first time. Okay, you're in this course. If you're in the course to pass, then make sure you pass. Now you're in charge of your life. My life's complicated enough for me. I can barely take care of the details I have to do. But you might be working. You might have too many units. You might have family obligations. These are all things that take away, and they're important. But if you can't put the time into this class because of those, then just drop the class and take it another semester when you can take care of business. Okay? So it's up to you to evaluate if you're able to handle this. This is your personal situation. That's not up to me. I got 180 people in there, and I just can't keep track of all those little details. I assume that if you're in the course, you want to learn organic chemistry, and that you're willing to do the work to make it happen. Okay, so that's my assumption, and I hope that's the case. If it's not the case for you, then don't take the course. Wait until you can give it the right effort that you need. Now, what is your goal? Do you need just a passing grade? For a lot of people, they'd just be happy with a C. Or even, I've had some people tell me they'd be happy with a D. On the other hand, foods and nutrition majors, certain ones, I think dietetics, I don't know about the other options, they need a B-. So if you need a B-, you have to approach the course like you're going to get a B-. Okay? So it requires more diligent attention to get the higher grade. Now, everyone needs a C- if you're going to take biochemistry, because that's the prerequisite for biochemistry. So some of the biology majors might have to take biochemistry, then you got to get a C-. Getting a C- is easy in this course. You just have to do the homework and do the clickers. Okay? And then just show up to take the exam. Almost anything you get will get you that C-. So if you want to do well, maybe get a B or an A, then you're going to have to work a little bit. It's hard work. Discipline, perseverance, consistency, determination. Okay, those are things that will do you well if you can do that. Okay, anybody can do it in here. It's not impossible. It's just a matter of can you avoid all the distractions that take you away. Now I will say this: the course at the start is easier, and it gets progressively harder towards the end. So you want to maximize your performance right at the start. Now, one thing you want to make sure you do is you do all the homework, get all those points, and as high a grade as you can on the clickers. That's 25% of your grade. Now I grade the homework really easy, so as long as you turn it in, you should be able to get 100 on the homework. And the clickers are graded pretty easy too. So start strong, build in some padding, and then you can maybe have a little bit of slack towards the end. Okay, now midterm 1 will be easier than midterm 2, and midterm 2 will be easier than the final. So the easier points are early. Got to do all the homework and clickers, and then do midterm 1. That's 45% of your grade. You can almost set yourself up to pass the course just with that performance right there. So do that well. There's actually a little bit of midterm 1 material on midterm 2, so that'll help you there too, and even on the final exam. Now, when it comes to the end of the semester, I've heard many, many sad stories. Makes me feel bad, and there's nothing I can do about it. So when it gets to the end, I'm not going to save you. Okay, you have to save yourself in the middle. At the start, the beginning, towards the end, that's when you have to save yourself. I can help you, coming to office hours or emails, things like that. But once the course is over, I'm not going to go back and change things that already happened. Okay, then it's determined. So make sure that doesn't happen. I don't want to hear any sad stories from you guys. Now there's many options to get your grade. Homework counts 20%. Clickers count 5%. If you take both the midterms, they count 20% each, and the final is 35. Now, say you miss one of the midterms, 1 or 2, it doesn't make any difference. I'm not going to give you a 0. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 20% and I'm going to add it to the final exam. So instead of the final being 35%, the final will be 55%. Say you miss both midterms. Okay, so I'm not going to give you zeros on those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take those percents and I'm going to add it to the final. So the final will be your entire exam grade, if that's what you choose. Okay, I don't think that's a good idea because, like I said, I think midterm 1 is easier than midterm 2, and I think midterm 2 is easier than the final. But, I leave it up to you. Now, if your homework grade is bad, say you're not doing the homework or for whatever reason, you're just getting a bad grade there, I will just throw out the homework. I'm not going to make the homework lower your grade. The homework can only help your grade. So if that's the case, I will eliminate the homework and I will count midterm 1 and 2 as 30% and I will count the final exam as 40%. Okay, so if you don't want to do homework, you don't want to turn it in, I don't think you can pass the course if you don't do the homework, but if you don't want to turn it in, then you can have this option here. So there's another option for you. And then the final option is if you take the final exam and it's better than your overall grade, including the homework, okay, then I will count the final exam as your grade. Excuse me on that. So that'll be 100%. I would say I had about 220 students last semester, and I would say maybe 5 people. That's the way it worked. They got better on the final, including one person who got, I think they were getting a D or a C, and they ended up getting an A. So anyway, that's a possibility. What that means is the course isn't over until you walk out of the final exam. So you have a chance right up to the end. Okay, homework, and let me emphasize again, homework and clickers are a gift. It's 25%. I grade it super easy. Okay, I just glance at what you did on the homework. I got 180 people. I'm not going to spend hours and hours grading every single paper. So I basically give you the points for effort, not correctness. If I see a mistake, I'll put an X through it, and you can kind of check that out on the key or something, or come and ask me about it. However, if you approach the homework with just a sloppy, like, oh, well, this is so easy, he doesn't even care about the homework, and so forth. And so you don't correct your mistakes, and you just do minimal effort. That's the way it's going to show up on the exams. Okay, the homework is a gift to reward your effort, but you will not do well in the exams unless you practice and do the homework diligently with a good effort. You need to check and correct your work, and then you need to repeat problems until you understand them. Okay? Doing the problems one time really diligently is better, though, than just 10 sloppy efforts. Okay? So I've seen some people, they're just slopping through this stuff, and that's not going to help you because you're not really seeing how to do it correctly. So one time correctly is good, but you really need to also repeat and check your work. Now, when you turn in your homework, print your name clearly. Okay? If I can't read it, I'm not going to record the points. I have 180 scores to record. That takes quite a while to enter them into Excel. If I just spend 1 minute per page per homework, that's 3 hours right there. And then if I have to come along and try and figure out your name, I got 100 names to check through. And so I have to go back and forth. If I can't read it, I'll just put it in a pile and won't record the grade. So make sure your name is very clear. Print it clearly. I do not accept homework late, so it's the day that it's due. I get it or I don't. If I don't get it, then you get a 0. Okay, if you're absent or if you forget your homework and you did it, you can email me a picture of your homework, and I'll give you 9 out of 10 points for that. Also, there's a lot of papers. Okay, I'm going to put them in 4 piles across the front of the room to kind of help it a little bit, but still there's a lot of papers there, so put some kind of a symbol or a color or something that you can recognize instantly, so you don't have to pick through all those papers. Okay, you can pull it out real quickly if you do that. Or you can just sit there and wait till everybody else collects their paper and come up afterwards. Now in clickers, whoever gets the highest score decides 100%. Everyone else gets a percent based on that score. Remember, clickers are 5% of the grade. I give you 1 point for pushing the button and 1 point for the correct answer. So say there's an A-B question. That's like 50-50 chance. You could just guess. Okay, and if you guess, then let's say you get 50% of them right, 50% of them wrong. So you get 1 point for the pushing the button, and then you get half a point for guessing. That's like 75% on the clickers. And remember, it's not going to be out of the total clickers, it's going to be out of whoever gets 100%, and nobody gets them all right. Okay, now if you don't have a clicker, or you don't want to buy one, or it doesn't work, then I'll have a sheet up in front. You can sign that sheet. And what I do is I give you the same number of points as pushing the buttons. So if I ask 5 questions, I'd give you 5 points. You wouldn't get any points for getting it right because I don't have a clicker result from you. Okay, so that means at the very end, if you don't even have a clicker, you can get 50% of the questions, and then that'll be more than 50% of the total 100, because whoever gets 100 is not going to get them all right. So you can still get 60%, something like that. All right. Now that might come in handy if you're right on the edge of a C or a B, or a B minus B, or an AB. Okay, that could help you a lot. So here's a little calculation. Let's ask 100 clicker points, 100 clicker questions. The highest score is 80. Now you just push the button, so you got 50 points. And so 50 over 80 would give you 3.1% out of the 5%. You can see that's a little better than 50%. And you don't even have a clicker. All the exams are cumulative. Anything that I discuss or is in the reading is fair game on the day of the exam. Remember, the material gets progressively harder, so you want to start off strong. Final exam, it's about 40% of previous material from the midterms, and then maybe 60% of the after the midterms. So, as you do the midterms, you get a little extra credit on the subsequent exams. On the exams, you're allowed one 8 by 11 inch page. You can write whatever you want, both sides. Let me say that again. On the exams, all the exams, you're allowed one 8 by 11 inch page, and you can write whatever you want on both sides. Okay? If you have 2 pages, then I'll assume you're cheating, and I will take your exam away and give you a 0. This is pretty generous. I'm giving you 1 page, and so there's no need to put 2 or 3. Last semester, I had some examples of people trying to use more than 1 page. Okay? So I have many exams on my exam webpage, and many keys also. So you can look at previous exams and see the format that you're going to find on the test. I just used the same template almost every single exam. So the material's there. I'll give you a cover page as soon as I make up the exam, so you know the questions and the order and all that. You can look at those previous exams and look at the answers and study those and try and get as best you can on those. You can even do those for homework if you want. So coming into the exam, you should be well prepared with a strategy. I also have some exams when I used to teach the whole year course from Chem 314, which is now I think 3140. That covers similar material. It's not exactly the same, but it's close. And so there's more keys there, but I think there's more than enough for our course in that particular section. Now remember, we're not a quarter system, we're a semester system, so there's 5 extra weeks, and that means there's going to be more material to learn. So some of the exams that I have posted are from the quarter system. So here's the link to the exam webpage, but if you just type in the Cal Poly address with the ~PS Beecham, that'll take you to my home page, and then you can just look on the side. And there's 2 important ones, courses and exams. You can look at those. Now, all my exams are too long on purpose. I put more questions than you can answer in the time. But then I curve them back. I take off about 1/3 of the points. So the total percent will be around 2/3 of whatever the point total is. And what that is, it's more like a buffet than a preset meal. So in a buffet, you get to go through and pick what you want and leave what you don't. In a preset meal, you just take whatever they have. Now, I could make my exam shorter, but then I would be deciding which questions to delete. And if you didn't know the questions that I included, then you just have to leave it blank. Okay? So I think this is to your advantage. Most of the students actually appreciate it. But the first time, it's usually a little stressful because a lot of you are used to trying to complete the exam. You're not going to complete the exam. Okay, so before you come in, know your strategy. Plan it out. Okay, which problems do I get the best? Try and do those. All my exams are pretty similar. The format will look just like probably the same. Midterm 1 will look like midterm 1. I ask kind of similar questions. I'm not trying to hide it. I'm just trying to get you to understand those questions. Be very familiar with that format and decide what you're going to do that you're better at, and do those first, and then work your way towards other things. Probably some point along the way you'll run out of time. Okay, so do the stuff you know best first. So remember, you're not graded on the entire exam. Maybe about 2/3 of the exam will be the 100% mark. So understand that going in. Try and reduce the stress. Practice on the sample exams. Practice with time limits so that you are used to working a little bit quickly, pushing yourself a bit so that you get used to trying to answer quickly with speed. Also, always check your answers. Okay, when you practice, check, and that's what you're doing homework or doing practice exams, check your answers and correct your errors. Okay, if you don't correct your errors, you'll just keep making those errors. You get really good at making them. But if you correct them, you'll get better at doing the right answers instead of the wrong answers. Okay, so the more you practice and the more you check yourself and your work, the more confident you'll be and the less anxious you'll be. So you won't get into that mindset where all you're thinking about is, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. Okay, so that'll make you a lot better student. I looked up the final exam schedule, and I see Thursday, May 14th, 7 a.m. to 8:50 a.m. for our exam. Very early, okay, earlier than our class. But that's the way this class is all the time. So you make sure you set like 3 alarms so you don't oversleep. I have this in the syllabus, but I'll just mention it here. I just want to show you how the homework helps you. So remember, the homework clickers is 25% of your grade. If you get 100 on that, then that means to get the A, which is 85%, you only need an 80 average on your exams because you got 100 average over here on 25% of the grade. So these are the grades you need. Notice there's an A, B, and a B minus for the foods and nutrition, dietetics majors, C and a C minus for the people that got to take biochemistry, and a D. Okay, so that's the grade you need. But now look at what happens if you get 100% on the homework and clickers. Instead of an 85, you need an 80. Instead of a 70, you only need a 60 average. Instead of a 68, you only need a 57 average. Instead of a 55, you only need a 40 average. That's a C. Okay, that's not even 50% because you did the clickers and the homework. If you need a C minus, which gets you into biochem, you only need a 33%. Remember, this is a curved exam. Okay, and just get the D. Every once in a while, a student just wants to get out of here. 20%. So there's no excuse for not passing this course. All right? Do not wait around at the start, do other stuff. Get on it right away. Okay? You can do it. Now, say you were looking for the A, and you had an 85 average on the exams, but your homework lowered it down because it was an 80 or a 70. I would just throw out the homework. Okay, I'm never going to make the homework bring down your average. If your average homework grade is higher than your exam grade, I'll count it. But if your average homework grade is lower than your exam grade, I won't count it. Okay? Now, I will say that probably last semester, over 95% of the students had a higher homework grade than their average. So don't waste that. A little propaganda statement. Okay, you're going to be in this course for 15 weeks. My suggestion is you look at this stuff every day, 2 hours. So you go, oh, no way am I going to do that. That's way too much time. If you count it all up, it's 210 hours. Okay, if you do this, you will do well in this course. As long as you take the approach, do the homework, correct it, check your mistakes, and so forth. Now, you say, okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, well, if you don't do it and you have to take the course over, then what are you going to do? Okay, you're going to have to end up taking the entire course over. That's going to be way more than 210 hours. You're going to have to pay more money, okay, which you didn't have to pay if you did it up here. Now, so what you get if you pass this course and you do well and you get your degree in your major, you're going to get 40 years of a career that you're trying to get into. That's 52 weeks, 7 days, 24 hours. You'll be able to sleep really well at night because you're doing the thing you want to do and living the life you want to live. Okay, you add all that up, that's 350,000 hours of enjoying your life and your career. Because what did you do? You spent 210 hours of hard work up here. Okay, so remember, I'm around. I'm at office hours, or you can email me, try and help you get through these tough parts where you're having a problem. All right, so the main thing to get out of this course is how to successfully approach a difficult subject. Okay, you have many difficult subjects besides this course, I'm sure. So you want to approach all of them in this kind of a manner. This is just a little picture of, in the syllabus, I have all the problems listed for each of the chapters and so forth. So you can find the page numbers there, but actually you can just open the book and look at it. You want to try to keep up with the material. Whatever we're going through in class, you want to keep up. Now, I don't require you to do that. Okay, the problems are there, and you can try them as we go through. But when I grade the homework, I just look at did you do some homework. Okay. Now you can work ahead, so you can do stuff that we haven't covered yet before lectures because you want to understand the lecture better, or you can redo old material. Every once in a while I get somebody who does the same problems over and over and over. That's okay for those problems, but you're not learning the other material, so it's not really a good strategy for trying to succeed in the course. But it is good if you're trying to get better at a particular topic so that you can do well in the exam. Now, any combination of this, okay, you can do problems we haven't got to, you can do problems we're discussing, you can do problems we've already done. Whatever you do, as long as you turn in the homework, it counts. Okay, you can also work on problems from sample exams, where you have the keys and you can check yourself. Okay, so you might want to do a combination of these things. Okay, it's up to you. You decide what you're going to do to learn the material. Now, when I grade the homework, basically, if you turn it in and you got more than one page, I'm going to give you 10 points as long as you made sort of an honest effort. An okay effort, maybe you didn't even get one page, okay, or everything you did is wrong on the problems. Still give you 9 points. Poor effort, every once in a while I get somebody who turns in like 1/3 of a page, hardly anything. They turned it in, I give them 8 points. Okay, so you can get something basically just for showing up and turning in the homework. You don't turn anything in, 0 points. Now, in addition to that, I drop your lowest 2 scores. So maybe you missed a couple homeworks, they're not going to count against you because I drop them. But you don't want to waste those. Okay? You want those to count for something. Now, it's not likely we're going to get through every chapter in the book. I always think we are, but we never do. And also, if we cover material, you're responsible for reading the book and trying the problems, even if I don't cover it in lecture, okay? Unless I tell you it's not going to be covered. It's not going to count. So I assume that you're doing that. If you're not understanding the material, then, hey, come by an office hour, and let's take a look at it. You've got to show me your work. Okay, I don't just, if you walk in and say, I don't get it, well, okay, then show me some work, and then I'll understand why you're not getting it. I can see where your error in thinking is involved. Okay. Also, in previous semesters, the Learning Resource Center has occasionally offered actually study sessions if they have a real motivated student down there. And some students have told me that they like that. You can go in there for just tutoring, personal tutoring. You just have to be careful. Sometimes the tutors don't know how to do the problems that we're talking about in class. So I've had actually some people get advised to do wrong things in their tutor session. So just if you're never sure, then double check with me. Okay, I try to answer emails fairly quickly, okay, but it depends. As far as me responding, it depends how complicated your question is. Some things I can only do maybe with you in front of you at an office hour, but a lot of questions I can answer by email. And it depends what else I have to do. Sometimes I have to do things just in my own personal life. So approach the homework. How do you do it? First, try the problems on your own effort. Okay. Then check the solutions manual. See if you got it right. If you got it right, that's great. But if you got it wrong, then you gotta see how you got it wrong and do it over again. So you check and correct. Okay. So you want to do that, and you want to do it more than one time. Okay, use lots of paper. Write it out, throw it away. Write it out, throw it away. Write it out, throw it away. Or what my daughter did, she graduated from Cal Poly, she used a whiteboard. So she liked to write and erase, write and erase. So she had like a little whiteboard that she carried around in her backpack, and then she would just write things out over and over. And she did very well. She had a very, very good GPA at Cal Poly. Only consult the key after you've made an honest effort to do the problem. Okay, if you just copy the key, you're not going to remember it. Okay, you really learn it in the struggle. That's where you retain it. Okay, check your work, make the corrections, then try it again. Do the problems over and over. It's kind of like I'm talking here. I'm saying the same thing over and over. That's the way you need to do the homework. Okay, lectures are 75 minutes long, so hardly enough time to cover everything that we have to cover. So I try to do highlights. I have started, last semester I started posting some videos on YouTube, so I'll try to continue that. But learning the material, really, that job belongs to you. I just get up there and try and talk about it in a way that you can understand. If you need help, visit the office hour. But if the door is open and I'm there, you can come in and ask. Usually that's what I'm teaching for now. I don't really have research and committee duties and stuff anymore since I retired. Okay, so embrace the challenge. Don't avoid it. If you avoid it, you're just not going to do the work. You're going to get behind, and within a week or two, you'll be so far in a hole you can't get out. Okay? So struggle with the material. The more you do it, the more you will like it. When you start to get it, you start to actually enjoy it and feel really good about yourself. Okay? So do it till you understand it and have some fun in the course. And get a good grade at the same time. Okay? You want to do all that stuff. These are just examples of previous students from a semester ago. Just wanted to show, this student was the top student in the class. Look at their 132%, 12% on the final. I have a certain score that I call 100. And if a person gets better than that, I'm going to give them more than 100%. So clearly this person ended up, the homework actually brought their grade down. They had 100 on the homework, and their average was 110%. They got an A. This student didn't do real well on the midterms, and didn't do perfectly on the homework, but they got an 86 on the final. 85 is the cutoff, so I gave them an A. This person didn't even do the homework. They tried the midterm, it was so-so. They didn't do the second midterm, but they got a 68 on the final, so I gave them a B-. That's the cutoff for a B-. This person did the homework really well, pretty good on clickers. Okay on the homework, not so great on the final. Actually, that's a D on the final, but the homework helped them out. They got a C in the course. This person, lousy on the homework. They didn't do the first midterm. They got an F on the second midterm, but they got 56 on the final. 55 is the cutoff for a C. So even with all of that, they got a C. This student did 100% on the homework, good on the clickers, not so good on the midterms, not so good on the final. But because of that homework, they got over 50%, and they got a C-. Okay, not so good on the homework, F on the first midterm. They didn't show up for the second midterm. Somehow they put it all together and got a 50% on the final, which is a C-. So their average was a D, but they got the final exam grade. This person did lousy on the homework, did not take the first midterm, did not take the second midterm, got a 44, which is a D, and so they got a D in the course. This person did lousy on the homework, F on the first midterm, F on the second midterm, F on the final, and they got an F in the course. This person did so-so on the homework. I don't even know why they turned it in, because they never took a single exam. And so if you don't take an exam, you end up with a W. Anyway, I just wanted to show you some results from previous semesters, and so you can kind of judge how you will play out. Okay, so that's the end of this video, but it's the beginning of an adventure to learn organic chemistry. I hope you have a good time. Okay? Bye-bye.